It is Friday, May 14. Welcome to CGN News. CARICOM's Council of Human and Social Development has asked the Caribbean Examinations Council, the CXC, to review recommendations to address concerns related to this year's exams. The group said CXC's response will be sent to participating governments next week before being taken to Governing Council for approval. Teachers' unions are against the decision not to adjust the exams in light of the difficult situations confronting students due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Caribbean Union of Teachers, the Caribbean Coalition for Exam Redress, and students have been circulating separate petitions on the matter. Grenada's government plans to extend until November the state of emergency in place to control the spread of the coronavirus. The House of Representatives will meet on May 21, at which time the extension is expected to be approved. Under the state of emergency, the Emergency Powers Act is activated, providing legal guidelines for the movement of citizens and the operation of businesses. Police are allowed to issue tickets to persons in breach of the regulations. Grenada has recorded 161 positive COVID-19 cases since March 2020. The single fire truck in the parish of Trelawney in Jamaica was destroyed in a blaze on Thursday. There were no injuries. Acting Assistant Commissioner at the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Emilio Ibanks, said the truck was being used to extinguish a bushfire near the closed Long Pond sugar factory. It had run out of water while responding to the bushfire. Ibanks could not immediately provide further details on the fire. However, he told the Gleaner that the Jamaica Fire Brigade will be moving hastily to replace the fire unit in Falmouth. The University of the West Indies, UWI, has announced that Professor Clive Landis will serve as the next principal of its Cave Hill Campus in Barbados. His appointment was confirmed on April 30 and approved by the University Council following a recommendation from Vice-Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles. Beckles described Landis as a leading academic and strong advocate of Caribbean development. Landis, who joined the UWI in 2004, has served as Deputy Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor for undergraduate studies. The 2002 Washington, D.C. sniper murders have resurfaced in the form of a documentary series. The series I, Sniper released its first episode this week on Vice TV. The documentary features interviews from relatives of the snipers, their victims, law enforcement, and people who encountered the shooters. Jamaican-born Lee Boyd Malvo, one of the snipers, was interviewed for the project. Malvo, who was 17 at the time, and 41-year-old John Muhammad killed 11 people and terrorized the Washington area in 2002. Muhammad was executed in November 2009, while Malvo is serving a life sentence in Virginia. Venezuela's Electoral Authority on Thursday announced elections for November 21 as President Nicolas Maduro and the opposition are set to restart stalled talks. Opposition leader Juan Guaido offered the progressive lifting of international sanctions against Maduro if he agreed to free and fair elections. Maduro agreed to meet with the opposition with the help of the European Union and Norway. The November vote would be the first since the 2020 elections were boycotted by the opposition, which also did not take part in the presidential poll that saw Maduro re-elected in 2018. President Joe Biden has hailed a great day for America as U.S. officials said vaccinated people can go maskless in most indoor and outdoor settings. Biden removed his mask in the Oval Office with Republican lawmakers as the guidance was being announced. The advice still calls for wearing masks in crowded indoor settings like buses, planes, and hospitals. In another major step for the U.S. in returning to pre-pandemic life, the president of the 1.7 million-member American Federation of Teachers labor union called for schools to reopen fully in the autumn. It comes after Pfizer's vaccine was approved for children aged 12 to 15. A major U.S. fuel pipeline has reportedly paid cybercriminal gang DarkSide nearly $5 million in ransom following a cyber attack. Colonial Pipeline was attacked over the weekend and took its service down for 5 days, disrupting supplies across the U.S. CNN, the New York Times, Bloomberg, and the Wall Street Journal all reported a ransom was paid, citing sources. Colonial said on Thursday it would not comment on the issue. Colonial announced it would resume operations Wednesday, but warned that it could take several days for the delivery supply chain to return to normal. On Friday, Japanese tech giant Toshiba said its division in France had been hit by the same cybercriminal gang. Ivory Coast Prime Minister Patrick Ashi has been admitted to hospital in Paris for medical tests, according to reports. Ashi was named Prime Minister in March following the death of the country's second Prime Minister in less than 8 months. Sources close to 65-year-old Ashi told Reuters news agency he was being treated for severe fatigue. Ashi replaced Hamed Bakayoko, who died of cancer at 56. Bakayoko had replaced Amadou Gon Coulibaly, who died following cardiac issues in July 2020. There was no immediate comment by the government. In the cases of both Gon Coulibaly and Bakayoko, government sources told reporters in the weeks before their deaths that they were suffering from fatigue. And finally, Israel has intensified its assault on Gaza as Palestinian militants continue to fire rockets into Israel on the 5th day of hostilities. Israel's military said air and ground forces were involved in attacks on Friday but had not entered Gaza. Video from Gaza City showed the night sky lit up by explosions from Israeli artillery, gunboats, and airstrikes. Some 119 people have been killed in Gaza and 8 have died in Israel since fighting began on Monday. This week's violence in Gaza and Israel is the worst since 2014. It follows weeks of tension in East Jerusalem, which culminated in clashes at a holy site revered by both Muslims and Jews. Hamas began firing rockets after warning Israel to withdraw from the site, triggering retaliatory airstrikes. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.